I think a very good place to start is to jump back in history a little bit, all the way back to my childhood, which is a long time ago, much longer than I'd like to admit, really. But anyway, I have very many fond memories of childhood and read aloud time. And I really do believe that that was a time that dropped some seeds in my heart to be a lover of literature and hearing literature being read to me. Because in our family, my mother and father had 4 children, and there were evenings that were spent with read aloud time. And it was mostly the children's classics that were read aloud to us. And they were very precious memories that I have from then. And so no surprise that when I had my own family and my own children, we did the same. We followed on with the tradition, if you can call it that, of reading aloud. And so we had read aloud nights. And in actual fact, because we were home educating our children, we didn't just have read aloud nights, they became read aloud days, because we also had chronic illness in our family and learning challenges. So now all of a sudden read aloud wasn't just dedicated to these special evenings where we read aloud, but they were in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening. So we were very immersed in the world of reading aloud. And furthermore, because I couldn't obviously, as the parent, as the mom, read aloud all those hours, we started getting audiobooks on tape in those days, cassette tape. So I was hunting for cassette tapes of audiobooks, and I found Winnie the Pooh because the children were little. And we still have those, and they really have become quite treasured to us now. And then we discovered tape aids for the blind. Now, we ourselves in our family don't have any members of the family with blindness. However, these tape aids for the blind were a huge help to us on so many levels. Learning challenges, learning difficulties. If you've got learning and reading struggles in your family and you can just get audiobooks that can assist with listening to the book being read to you while you follow along in the book, it was a tremendous support. So it goes without saying that we were members of Tape Aids for the Blind. And that has been another long history, looking back in history, because, that was many years ago that we used to receive these little plastic cases that had a couple of tapes in them, 2 or 3 or 4, depending on the length of the book. And we would just dive into this book and listen to the whole book on cassette, as I say, and the children had Walkmans in those days. And then when the book was finished, we'd take it back to the library, send it back to Tape Aids, and then they would send us another one. And it was always a surprise. We didn't choose what book we wanted. They knew us as members that this was the age of the children, and we wanted to listen to the classics. And so they'd send them to us. Little did I know what was involved with those books actually being read aloud. It had not even crossed my mind. I didn't even think about the narrator sitting there at the microphone reading these books aloud for us. It just didn't even enter my thinking that, all the thought process of a person, a narrator, going into a booth or to the microphone, wherever they were narrating from at that stage, I didn't know, and I just was very, very grateful to be on the receiving end. Now our children are grown up, they are adults, they have been saturated with audiobooks, and in actual fact, they continue to listen to audiobooks. It's so interesting. They're in their 30s now, and they listen to audiobooks as a pleasure, something they enjoy doing.